Yes, we are live. Hello, everybody. What are you watching? Well, live. That's right. Live. So, the reason I'm doing this is I'm in my robe, very comfortable. So the reason I'm doing this, yeah, we're good, is that I have some leftover Ask Uncle Jimmy questions. So a bunch of them, and I wanted to do them all so that I can get them off my plate. Because I'm going to transition Uncle Jimmy, Ask Uncle Jimmy. I'm going to do a new show. This big, huge announcement I wanted to give you. So I wanted to give you first look at what the new show is going to be. It's a new show that takes. I'm going to take one of my cartoons that I did and break it down, like show a little bit of the behind the scenes stuff, talk about the characters, talk about the story, maybe interview some of the voice actors once in a while, talk about just different elements of and then show clips from the movies. And each episode will be dedicated to a different project. So, and that show goes a little something like this.
Enter a dimension where the characters and stories are much too cartoon to be real, but also too real to be cartoons. Go behind the scenes as we take a journey across the Luniverse,
aka the Luhaniverse.
Yeah, I'd watch that show if I wasn't making the show. So, here's to Across the Luniverse. It's an idea I've had for a long time, but I never had the technology to do it until the StreamYard came along, and it's perfect for what I want to do. So yeah, I'll be doing that in the next couple weeks. I don't know how often I'll do them, maybe every other week, but I'm really excited about that. And continue to watch the Top 5 show that I do with Gary Hodges. That goes a little something like this. That's right, Top 5. So anyway, so I think this is the last Uncle Jimmy I'll do. It's been fun, but I'd rather do something that's more project oriented. So that's why. But here, we got a bunch of questions. So let's, oh, by the way, if you have a question, just put it in the chat. I should be able to see it, and we'll go from there. All right. For the thousands of viewers that are out there right now watching other shows, check this out. Okay, we're going to go with our first question. This first question comes from, let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. There we go. It comes from Tom Racine, and it says, if aliens came down and said you had to choose to ban forever either pie or cake, which would you choose? Ooh, which would I choose? I think I would choose to ban cake. I like cake, but pie is generally better than cake, in my opinion. I mean, in this cheesecake, is that kind of pie or cake? It has the word cake in it, but it's more like a pie. Nothing beats berry pie and lemon pie and all the various pies, but yeah, I'll stick with pie. Plus, pie has the crust, and that's where it's really at. So I will stick with, sorry, cake. Although cake's great. Costco cake's pretty good too. So, chocolate cake. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. This is very difficult. Oh, I'm going to stick with pie, though. I would keep pie. All right. So thank you, Tom. Tom Racine at talltaleradio.com. By the way, go check Tom's show out at talltaleradio.com. It's fantastic. All right. Next question from Bill Moran. He's a New York Jets fanatic. And that guy loves the Jets. Win or lose, or lose or lose. He says, when using friends, and yes, I do use my friends. When using friends and their voices for your animation, do you create the character first and choose who you would then best represent the character? Or do you take someone that you know you're going to use and mold the character's persona around that person? Ooh, that's a good question. Both ways, usually both ways. For example, right as we do this, I'm working on something called The Night Eats Its Own. And I had a few characters already created, and I had ideas for some people to play them. But the characters were created first. So in that case, I'm having the people add their personality to the characters. Whereas I have before designed a character for someone. Trying to think of who. Well, like Uncle Max in I did a thing called All That Glitters. Neeson, my friend Neeson plays Uncle Max. I designed Uncle Max for Neeson because I knew his voice would fit that perfectly fine. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. All right, and if you have any questions, just put them in the chat. Okay, Deacon Burns from Counterclockwise. What do you prefer more, making music or doing animation? Well, I'll take doing animation as like creating the film, like that process of creating the film. For sure, making music's more enjoyable, which is more fulfilling. They're about equal. But doing music's way more, always enjoyable. It's easier than making animated films. Making animated films is kind of tough, but doing music is a joy. And I was talking with, I don't know if it was Gary Hodges, not that long ago, and I was saying how the reason why I think I've had longevity is because, like, when I get sick of creating the animation, I can do the music, So like when I get tired of making the music, I can go back to the art and creating the animation and stuff. So like one thing refreshes the other. So that's been kind of nice. So, hello, Paul Pate. Hiya. If you got any questions, hit me up. Okay, they're free. All right, so we're going to go back to the slideshow and read the next question. All right, next question from Steve Scardino, who is the bastion of justice, in my opinion. One of my favorite lawyers and one of my favorite people. Friend before lawyer. It's not my lawyer. So. Okay, let's start with something light. For example, how long have you had monkeypox? Have you ever had donkeypox? Does Goldilocks have monkeypox? Can you eat lox? Well, Well, unfortunately, Steve, I do not have the monkeypox. But for those that do, you do you. But I do not as we speak. But I do love monkeys very, very much. Especially Mickey Dolenz, favorite monkey. Okay. Nick Lujan, my nephew, my beautiful nephew child. He writes, what is your sign? And what are you wearing? Okay. Nicholas. Let's go back. Sorry about that, folks. I just ruined the slideshow. Oh no, go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna switch the screen here really quick. All right. So, my sign is a Virgo sign. Virgo sign. So I am a Virgo. So if anybody knows any traits of Virgos, put them in the chat because I don't really know that many. I know we're supposed to be judgmental and picky. Maybe I am. I don't know. And virgins. Yes, I am. So, and what am I wearing? I'm wearing a beautiful fine, silky robe that is so smooth. And I'm wearing my Sick Animation shirt, which I got to give a shout out to Sick Animation. I love your work, but I also sleep in this shirt, so I hope that's not offensive. But it is very comfortable, and it's a great shirt. And all right, so hey, by the way, let's go to the chat, and there's some questions in the chat. And Paul Pate, he writes, "Can I have $5?" Yes, but not from me. But you can have $5. Okay, and then from some person writes, "Is it true that animation? Is it true that this is going to be a yes to your question? Is it true that some animators have had a head injury at least once in their life?" Yes, at least once in our lives we have. So I should probably let's see here. Okay, yes, but I actually have had head injuries as a kid. I had stitches when I was a kid, but I don't think that affects me. So, okay, and then one more from Paul right here. He says, "How do you draw hands?" How do I draw hands? Like this. I will start with. I'm trying to think. What do I start with? Usually it's like this. These three fingers I start with. Like you probably the thumb. I'm trying to think if I had to draw a hand. No, you know what? It's usually like the index finger. I will start with the index finger and then build everything. And then the thumb. I don't know. It's a good question. I go back to one of my drawing videos and see how I draw them. I don't know. That's a good question. I usually use the same hand poses all the time because hands are hard to draw. They are. But great question there, Paul. But I draw hands. Like I said, I think index finger first. I like drawing hands, by the way. I really like drawing hands. Not great, but I like drawing hands a lot. Some people hate it, like drawing feet. I don't like drawing. It's hard to draw cars, but I like drawing them. But it's hard to draw a quarter view of a car. Side view, I always do side views or front views, but you know. But and Paul says, "I feel like I'm lying the way I draw hands." Well, nobody will know unless you go back and watch the videos. So, all right. Next question here. Let's go here. The question is, is it difficult to change your voice to play different characters? Linda Tennies, she is an amazing artist. Please go check out her work on Instagram. Linda Tennies, I will tell you, it is not difficult, but I noticed that like if I'm reading a lot of lines or doing a lot of lines from a character, it starts drifting into, okay, be specific. I did this one character that had a real gruff, gravelly voice, and I had done one for Revengeance, the film I did, of a character named Deathface, and then all of a sudden this character started sounding like that character. So I kind of tend to drift back into certain modes. So, but it's not. One talent I've always had since I was a kid is I was always able to look at a photo and then make a voice for that person. So, and that totally translates for my cartooning. That's been one of my strengths. So rather than just I do not have like a bag of tricks of voices. Like, oh, these are the 5 voices that I do. You know, I don't always drift back into, you know, I gotta do the 1940s, you know, guy. You know, I don't have that, or you know, whatever it is. I have a lot of people that live in my head. So, but thank you. It's not difficult. No, it's not difficult for me, but it's difficult being consistent. So, all right, next question. From Geo Braun, amazing dog artist. Please go check out Geo on Instagram as well. What is the most fun in making your animations come to life? Ooh-wee. What is the most fun to making my animations come to life? I think I was just animating this morning, as a matter of fact. It's taking a drawing with a series of movements that that you've planned out, and then putting them together and adjusting the speed, and just knowing that how real or how good it works. Like when it works, it's great. Or having, even in my case, just having somebody blink and talk, it really does bring the character to life, and that to me is very exciting. So yeah, so that's probably the most fun part to me, is bringing that still image to life and giving it a character through my limited animation. Yes. And Paul says, Jim, I have 10 stitches in my forehead right now. Do you want me to send you pictures? Paul, I don't know how you got them, but I hope you're okay. Wow. That's like, you're like Peytonstein right now. That's scary. I hope you're okay. And I hope, don't make your wife mad again. You can get 10 more. So you should have learned your lesson. Or maybe you got 5 and got her mad and then got 5 more. I don't know. But anyways, I hope you're doing well, Paul. That's scary. Very scary. 10 stitches. We'll talk. We'll talk. Next question. Which one of your, oh, okay. Which one of your characters, it's supposed to be, would you feel comfortable leaving alone with a pet or a loved one? From Scott Circlin from circworks.com. Go check out Scott's stuff. He does good work. Scott's a really outstanding citizen and a fine American. Scott. Okay. Gosh. I think I might have answered this one too on the regular Ask Uncle Jimmy. Boy. None of them. So that's the honest answer. I think none of them. I can't think of one. No, they're all ne'er-do-wells. Yeah, none of them. Even my good characters are bumbling and they mess up. And so that's what makes it fun, though, right? But good question. Good question. So, all right, next question. From Jose Cabrera, my brother, my best brother, artist, buddy, friend. Jose Cabrera on the East Coast. We miss you, buddy. Have I ever dunked on a 10-foot rim? No, sir, I have not. And I'm tall enough where I should be able to. I'm 6'1", and I should be able to. Although in my younger, youthful days, in my 20s, I could probably run. I could always run and touch the rim, bink, hit it, but I could never dunk. Could not ever dunk a basketball on it, that's for sure. And I'll tell you this, we did have at my parents' house growing up, this was idiotic, and I should have been jailed for this. We used to run. We had a basketball hoop on the front, in front of the garage. We used to run and run up like Spider-Man, run up the garage and then dunk on the basketball hoop. I would have beaten me with a belt if my dad wasn't home. He was a fireman. So, but anyways, thank you, Paul. Okay, Paul, we got a question from Paul. Paul's on fire. Good question, Paul. Paul asks me, he says, Jim, can I name my top 3 villain characters? Paul, tell me if you mean from I think you mean from my cartoons, right? Okay. Top 3 villain characters. Well, I don't know if Sugar Machine's a villain, but I like that character a lot. Deacon Burns plays that character. That's a great character. He's one of them, but I don't think he's a villain. But I know who my number 1 would be. I definitely like from my cousin Eric Alatorre. By the way, go check out Chanticleer. Look at CH Chanticleer. They're a men's chamber choir. My cousin Eric sang like sub bass, like the lowest bass you can possibly sing, and he did the voice for Kurchenko, Vladislav Kurchenko from All That Glitters, and he was a gangster from the country of Bretvia. That is one of my favorite characters. Awesome character. Another villain from my own villains. Bad guy. I know I'm missing some, but I will say, well, Deathface from Revengeance. He's really fun. I think he was a great villain. But my number one favorite villain, and you'll be seeing this villain soon. Go look at in 2 cartoons. If you go look at a cartoon I did called Seven Smiles, there's a character named Koviak. His real full name is Emilio. I wrote it out one time. Something Emilio Koviak. He's an old man. Well, now he's an old man, but he's kind of like an East Coast gangster, bald guy with kind of pointy ears. I love doing that character, and I love that character, and I want him to come back. So he will come back. His name has appeared in several of my cartoons. I think he's also in Bobby Churro. He's mentioned in the long version. I have a 20-minute version of The Legend of Bobby Churro. He's in there. All of this stuff you'll find out. By the way, all of this stuff you will find out about soon in
Enter a dimension where the characters and stories are much too cartoon to be real, but also too real to be cartoons. Go behind the scenes as we take a journey across the Looniverse,
aka the Luhanaverse.
Yes, that's right. That show's coming soon. So great question, Paul. But Koviak's probably my favorite one. Here's another question. Here we go. From some person. Have I ever met Mike Judge? Yes, I have, and it was wonderful. We were. This is gonna sound like name dropping. We were at a Mark Maron show at the. Oh, it's the theater. I can't remember. It's in LA. It's off of Vermont. But anyways, or it's kind of near Vermont. But it was a Mark Maron show. And then I might be having this all wrong. Anyways, I met Mike Judge. I saw him going into the restroom. And I said, I'm going to just casually linger like an assassin. Casually linger. And he catch him on his way out. And he came outside. And I was like, hey, Mike. I wasn't like, hey, Mike, I'm a big fan. But I did have something in common. I know he's a big Bill Plimpton fan. So I immediately threw Bill's name to him. I said, and it was true. I said, hey, Mike, Bill Plimpton told me to tell you hello, which sounds like something in a set. Bill Plimpton told me to say hello, But he did. He told me to tell Mike if I ever, So then that we started talking, and he gave me his personal email, and I'm not kidding. He actually did. He's a really nice guy. We talked for about 30 seconds, and I told him who I was and what I did. And then I did at the end, I told him, yeah, I said I got into animation because of you. And I think it's because your drawing style, my drawing style is similar to yours. So, but I didn't fanboy out. I was cool, but we never correspond though. So, but yes, I have met Mike. That was a great question. Thank you. By the way, yes, that last thing that you saw, the Luhanaverse. But I always thought I was going to call it the Looniverse at one point. All of my collected characters and stuff like that, but it's too similar to the Looney Tunes. And plus, the Artcasters guys dubbed it the Luhanaverse. Like they would just say that, like without me ever prompting them. So that just stuck in my head. So the show's called Across the Looniverse because it sounds better, but my universe, I guess, is called the Luhanaverse. So, but this is a very good question. Thank you for that question too, by the way. Very good question, Paul. He says, who exactly wants San Giorno dead? So if you haven't seen San Giorno Must Die, you must see San Giorno Must Die. It's wonderful. It's a series that I did for Titmouse. I did it for Titmouse and 6 Point Harness. They had a channel called Rugburn on YouTube. It still exists. If you go there, you can still find it. But it was a a series that I did for them, and it was so much fun. And it's weird. It got me a lot of views and everything. And it's weird when you get that many views. It's interesting to see, like, I had never experienced any haters or anything, and I kind of felt a little bit there was some there, but not compared to how some people got them. But who wants him dead? Everyone wants him dead, because San Giorno always bumbles and gets in the way and sees things he shouldn't see and says things he probably shouldn't say. But I love San Giorno. I don't want him dead. And is he dead? Who knows? Maybe he's not dead. So, all right, back to the questions at hand. Okay, we've got another question. Jamar Nicholas, great artist, great artist. Philadelphia's the pride of Philadelphia, cartoonist. Does fist, stick, knife, gun. He did an adaptation of that. And I want to say Leon of the Schoolyard. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but just amazing friend, amazing artist, and has done voices for me. If you go watch Lars Lazarus, he does the voice of Rico, the henchman. But anyways, question is, what's the secret to personal success? Oh boy, what's the secret to personal success? Okay, I'm going to tell you something very wise right now. It's knowing that you already have arrived. That's it. I believe that's it. Because now that's another way of saying appreciate what you have now, not what you're trying to obtain. So that's the big secret. So just knowing that you've already arrived, act like you belong there. No, just knowing that you're already there and appreciate what you have now, not what you're working to get. When you get what you're working to get, you appreciate that then. So that's it. Be appreciative. And it's hard. I know, everybody. It's hard. It's so hard. But all right, next question. This is from my brother Steve, who is my professional brother and professional musician friend brother. Okay, Steve says, how has your drawing technique changed with your new animation software? Well, Steve Lujan, I'll tell you. Oh, Leanne. By the way, Leanne knows Steve. Hi, y'all. That's Leanne Lujan. Okay. And also, Frank Salazar says, is this the end? My only friend, the end. So it is probably the end for the Uncle Jimmy stuff. But if you rewind a little bit further back, you'll see I have another show coming out that's not so me-centric. It's more my projects, which is probably better for the world. But back to Steve's question. Steve Lujan, let me tell you something. I was 100%. In fact, let me show you something. I'm going to show you something now here. Because why tell you when I can just show you? All right. I was 100% before. I used to be. Let me put this full screen. I used to be all these are originals, by the way, worth millions. John Henry Unicorn, the original from the original cartoon. And I'll be showing these on Across the Looniverse coming soon. But I used to draw everything in the sketchbooks. These are the actual sketchbooks that I did. Go to the store, you can buy some yourself. And I was very, very, very much sold on these sketchbooks. I thought I will never go digital because I love drawing, and I still do love drawing on paper, but I don't that often. But I would take these and I would scan the artwork into Photoshop, color it, and then animate it using Flash, moving things around. And when I got my iPad, I had friends just like one after another. You know how people got COVID? One after another, my friends started getting iPads. And I finally, I didn't take the vaccine for the iPad. I got iPad. And I didn't, for the first year I had it, I was almost resenting it. And like, oh, I'm not going to use it that much. But the program Procreate. I'd see my friends use it. And once I started using Procreate, oh man. It just changed everything. I had all the control I did with my sketchbook. I do all of the artwork, all of it in Procreate, and then I just import it on my computer and then just move it around, because you can export Photoshop documents from Procreate. So that's all technical, but the short answer from a long explanation, Steve, is I just went digital, 100% on my iPad, and it made this guy, who's a quick artist, it made him even quicker. So yes. So, and then Frank says, Leanne, I didn't know you were Southern. Some Southern Pomona. She is. Yeah. She's country at heart, but city on the surface. So, and Leanne, if you have any questions, just let me know. You better not embarrass me. Okay. Jim, Paul Pate, who I'm paying $5 a question for. Paul Pate says, he has another question here. I'm going to just read this blind. Jim, what is it like to know that all your friends are there only because they like Leanne? This is about me. It's about me and not about everyone else. Okay, we have another question here. Hold on. Frank Salazar, Salazar Art Nation. By the way, go check out Salazar Art Nation on YouTube, on Instagram, Twitter, Grindr, whatever. He says, you used John Wesley Shipp to animate, or was it Grant Gustin? You have stumped me, my friend. Please explain. I don't know. I don't get that, but I'm sure it's wonderful. Just let me know what that means. I don't understand that. Okay. Oh, boy, I love getting these live questions. Oh, Leanne says, and I'm going to say it in Leanne's voice, I gave you my questions a long time ago. By the way, it's a long time ago, not a long time ago. Leanne, I'm going to mark your grammar incorrect. I'm sorry. I cannot accept this question. But I think I answered your question on my other show, Leanne. But if you can think of it, okay. Some person wrote, what does it feel like to be the god of your Luhanaverse? Oh my God, it feels wonderful. It's actually really good. I guess I am a completely controlling person when it comes to my artwork, right? I guess so, because I don't like to do anything I don't want to do. Oh, okay. Frank Salazar says, all those people played The Flash. Okay, thank you. I get it now. I get it. Flash, because I use Flash. Okay, but back to being God, back to playing God. It is actually, no kidding, it is really wonderful because you get to design everything from the hairstyles to their weight, to their fingernails, to their high heels, to their ties, to their eyeglasses, to where they live, to everything. And I love it. I don't know. I really love it. So Leanne wrote, can't be responsible for any typos or grammatical errors. Wait, let me check this sentence for any grammatical errors. Okay, you're okay. All right, I accept that. And Paul says, you make Leanne sound like a Victorian princess. Yes, she is my Victorian princess. We're watching The Crown right now, by the way. Not literally right now, but these days. So, all right. Next question here. All right. It says, from Charlie Rossman, one of my best friends, also the guy that I go to. Between him and Nisam, they've done the most voices for me, I think, lately. They just are the two go-tos all the time. Okay. he says, do you think Michael Jordan could have gotten those 6 rings without Scottie Pippen? Michael Jordan's a basketball player, by the way, for those of you that don't know. He was. I believe, in all seriousness, but I've never dunked on a 10-foot rim, so what do I know? But I believe that Michael Jordan would have got probably 5 rings without Scottie Pippen. And I think they would not have been 3-peats, probably. They would have been a lot harder because Scottie Pippen contributed a lot to that team. Scottie Pippen in his prime would have been easily a starter on any other team. But it's the same theory as Magic Johnson and James Worthy. Except I think Scottie Pippen, it was more on Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan's shoulders. James Worthy also had Byron Scott and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Magic, of course. And AC Green, of course. Who could forget that? Frank says one more thing. Says, will there be any more Turocco references in your upcoming films? Yes. In the very next one, you will be very glad to know that there's a brash mention of Turocco. By the way, Turocco is Frank's. He does this thing called the Turocco art cast. And Turocco means bird of some sort in Espanol. So, for those of you. All right. We're going to go to the next question. The next question will be this. One more from Jamar, my buddy from Philly. Food truck or dine-in restaurant? Ooh. Dine-in restaurant most of the time. Food truck for a lobster roll has had one of the best we've ever had in our lives. We had from a food truck. Happy Ice, a really great dessert on a truck. Just food trucks can be great, but for the most part, dine-in. Dine-in's a much better experience. I prefer. All right, so that's settled. All right, next question. This is from Joseph Donison, who actually does White Hippo USA. Please go to Instagram and look up White Hippo USA. You will be glad you did. He designs stuff. He does merchandise and stuff, but he does these hilarious illustrations and cartoons and stuff. And he's really good. And he does animation too. So he's a really funny guy. He's the pride of Long Beach. So him and Snoop Dogg. Okay. He says, amongst your animated films. Oh, look at Leanne brought me Happy Ice. Let me show you. Look, this is what Happy Ice is. Oh man, that's good stuff. You know how much this was? $10. And they didn't even fill it all the way. They filled it. Normally they do. You go to Happy Ice, they fill it like that. But Happy Ice, next time fill it all the way. But that's all right. Thank you. They're good props. Props to your props. Thank you, Leanne. That was my helper, Leanne. Okay, so amongst your animated films, which is your favorite, and who are your favorite indie animators? Well, that's a fantastic question. I will answer that with all seriousness. Okay, let's start with my films. Which ones are my own animated favorite films? Okay, I'll give you a few. Okay, but these are the first that come to mind. One that always comes to my mind is Cherries in the Snow. I really liked Cherries in the Snow. I thought it was a pretty complete film that I did. Love the soundtrack. That genre of freestyle music in Southern California has not been conquered by anyone else yet. So I think I'm the first, hopefully. And I just like it. I like all the people that were involved in making it. The fact the music was really funny. I thought the story was good. I had a good time making it. So Cherries in the Snow is always one that is very close to my heart. I think that Pleasure Beast. I I felt like that, like something clicked when I did Pleasure Beast. And it's not that old. It's only 2 films ago. But I felt like something clicked. Like, wow, I'm in the zone with Pleasure Beast. In a good way, not in a rut, but in a zone. So Pleasure Beast is right up there too. I really liked Pleasure Beast. I like the cast a lot in that. It's not the one I watch all the time though, but it is one of my favorites. But I'll tell you, there's one that I want people to go back and watch, and I know I'll bring this up on Across the Luniverse, but I did a film called En Fuego, and I task you with the homework of En Fuego. I'm going to put it in the chat. I'll spell it. En Fuego. There, it's in the chat. Just go to jimluhan.com and look up En Fuego. And actually, I could do this. I forgot. I can go. En Fuego. Okay, I can do this. So, oh no. So I made fun of Leanne because of her grammatical errors, but I just made an error. En Fuego. That's my next one. Okay, let's see. En Fuego. Yeah, there you go. En Fuego. Go see this. Go see that film right there. Go to jimluhan.com and look for En Fuego. That En Fuego is 3 stories, and they're kind of like intertwined. One of my characters, Alpha Nerd, is in it. My character, I think it was the first time I put Bill, my friend Bill, in a cartoon. And he's a bully in that cartoon, just like in real life. Bill.
Jim, I
Well, Leanne said something, but I didn't hear. But En Fuego. En Fuego is one of my favorite. Oh, let me see the comments. I think we have more comments. All right. But yeah, En Fuego is one of my favorites. Cherries and Snow, En Fuego. Of course, Counterclockwise in Foreverland. Huge. That was like the most views I've ever gotten on anything. That, but also All That Glitters, the series that became a movie. That's one of my favorite things too. So here, Paul asks. Paul, he asked me this question. He says, Paul says to me, he says, Jim, when are you going to make a prison drama cartoon? I already have, Paul. There's one that's very underground. In fact, I took it off my page because it's not cancel worthy, but it's just like, it's a little too it's just a little too much. I did a cartoon called Prison Love. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, Paul. That's what you get for being a patron, right? But I did a cartoon called Prison Love. I think you'll enjoy it. It was very popular on, and I'm not kidding, it was popular on my public access TV show that I had. So, yes. And by the way, all animators wear robes. Oh, back to Donison's question. Hang on. Who are your favorite indie animators? I gotta say, obviously, the obvious answer is Bill Plimpton. Before I met him, after I met him, and while I'm meeting him, he's great. Ralph Bakshi, another one. I think he has a really interesting career. And absolutely, Mike Judge, when his early stuff really influenced me. There's a lot of really, really good indie animators out there. There's one guy, he has a show coming out on Netflix. I don't remember his name. It's like Joseph Barnes or something like that. I'm going to butcher the name. I don't know, but there's a lot of really good animators out there right now. And, you know. But, and by the way, Frank Salazar says something that is 100% true. In fact, Frank, thank you for reminding me. I'd have to say, all in all, I didn't even think of it. All in all, I'd have to say Infinity Pool is probably my favorite of my own films. I didn't even think of that. Thank you, Frank. That's what happens when I have too many films to even think. Pleasure Beast, is pretty cool. That the hip pastor that Joshua Kimball plays. Thank you. He did a great job. Do animators get any cravings for strange foods? Just junk food, not strange foods. Junk food. Junk food. Is Cherries in the Snow an unofficial sequel to Cactus in the Snow? Frank, you're being silly. That's silly. Cherries in the Snow is a dramatic film. Deserves respect. Okay, but yes. But thank you for reminding me about Infinity Pool. I will officially say Infinity Pool is my favorite of my cartoons that I've created. There, I said it. Okay. By the way, I'm going to name drop. Leanne, who else likes Infinity Pool?
What?
Who else likes Infinity Pool? A certain comedian that we might know?
Oh, what's his name? Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan. Yes, it's true. It's true. And his kids. And the horse he rode in on. This statement is true. Bless you. It's true. That is true. Go look on Infinity Pool. He even left some comments on it. So, yeah, that's an absolute truth. Very nice guy. Has a wonderful family. I got to get this Infuego out of there. Hang on. But yeah, he loved Infinity Pool. I sent it to him. He watched it. It was during quarantine, so he was very bored. And he gave me some really good feedback, and he loved it, and I was very happy. It is probably my favorite film. By the way, Infinity Pool inspired a lot by our trips to the Hearst Castle and that area. I love it up there. Love it, love it, love it. All right. Next question for me to answer now. What is the best film of the 1980s, and why is it Big Trouble in Little China? From Tom Racine, voice artist, and he is an outstanding American. Tom Racine is also the star of my new film, The Night Eats Its Own. So yes, this is very, very incestuous. Tom Racine, I have never seen Big Trouble in Little China. It's true. It is absolutely true. Leanne, I believe, probably watched that with her mom on cable. But I've never seen it.
What, Jim?
Yeah, Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, I think my mom liked that.
Yeah, her mom loved that film. So, but I've never seen it. And to me, the best film in the 80s, ooh, man. You know what's funny? I can only think of Purple Rain. I can't think of another film from I know there's so many good films in the 80s. I just, right now, my mind can only think of Purple Rain as being the best film of the 80s, which it might be. But you know what else? Jim Gaffigan is the famous white guy. He's the famous white guy. He's a really nice guy. Okay. So, all right, next, we're going to go look at the next question now. All right, let's look at this next question. I don't know. Are there any more? Is there more, or is that it? I think that's it for the regular questions. Wow. Let me see in the comments if I've missed any. Mr. Franklin Art Nation Salazar says, is Paul Pate my second favorite indie animator? Yes, he is my second favorite. He's my second favorite everything. So, and you know who my favorite is? Jesus. Okay, what else? Let's see if there's any other comments. I might have skipped some or missed some. Oh, I think we pretty much all caught up. So again, I actually had so much fun doing this that I hate to say it, but I might have to do this again one day, but not regularly. But I like this live Ask Uncle Jimmy thing. But it's fun. It's been fun. But all of those questions, I wanted to get them out there because I did harass my friends and ask them to send me questions for Ask Uncle Jimmy. And then, as you saw, I was putting together the little episodes as I went along. And I actually had a couple of them filmed, but not edited. And I just thought, I don't know. I wanted to do Across the Luniverse more. And so that's why I'm going to do that. So I figured Across the Luniverse will be a way to get people to go back and watch my catalog of films. And Quentin Tarantino and Roger Avery have a show called, oh boy, what's it called? Something Video Archives, maybe. But it's a podcast. Please go look out Quentin Tarantino podcast. And what they do is they take these old movies that they had at Video Archives, the video store that they used to work at, and Quentin Tarantino bought the whole catalog. And they watch these movies on VHS, and then they talk about them. And it makes you want to see these old movies. Like, for example, there's a movie called Cocaine Cowboys. I have to see it now. And they talk about it, and they make it just really sound really interesting. So it got me thinking that I had this idea for years. For probably 4 or 5 years, I wanted to do a show called Across the Luniverse, but I wasn't sure what it would be about. And then maybe about a year ago, I started thinking, oh, it could be a way to break down the episodes. But I thought I would have to film it on my camera and then edit it. But with StreamYard, you can just shoot it live. It's a lot easier. And with StreamYard, I can I can show video clips and things, and I can show little snippets of things and things like
Enter a dimension where the characters and stories are much too cartoon to be real, but also too real to be cartoons. Go behind the scenes as we take a journey across the Luniverse,
aka the Luhanaverse.
So if you have any particular characters you want me to do a deep dive on of my world, the Luhanaverse, just let me know, and I'll be glad to, most likely, because you're not paying me, so I don't have to do what you say. And one more comment here, well, maybe a couple. I'll have a look, Frank says, I'll have a look back. Were any of mine answered? I don't remember. So you can say yes, and I'll believe you. Yes. And then some person says, you need a pipe to go with the distinguished robe. I agree. Like a crack pipe. Yes, well, I don't tell you something. The British people are strong people, and we will not stand for this aggression. Yes. Yes. Very well. So, by the way, some person, great name. You need an icon, because some person you should have a question mark as an icon. But I will never mispronounce your name, some person. If you ever tell us your real name, just saying. But good question, some person. It's just some person. But that's, I think, it for now. So I will say this. I will say that I'm not completely canceling Ask Uncle Jimmy, but I will do these. I will do these periodically. By the way, like a Cocaine Cowboy. Yeah, there's a great song, a theme song for Cocaine Cowboy. I heard it on YouTube. It's really good. Oh no, you're singing it like a Rhinestone Cowboy. No, they actually have a theme song, Cocaine Cowboy. So the star of the movie was a wannabe musician that actually ran drugs for some drug cartel. You got to go see it. Anyways, it's like a 1970 something. It's like a Jim Luan film. But so yeah, I will periodically do these, but most likely the next things that you're going to see from me are going to be my Across the Luniverse, demanding that you go check my back catalog, because there's so many films. I could have years and years of material just from these alone. So if you want to see me do a show like on Officer Bill and Officer Perez, a specialty show on them, I'll do it. If you want to see a show on all you know, all the rappers of my, you know, I've done of all of whatever. But I can tell you the first episode of Across the Looniverse will be dedicated to a cartoon I did called Hard Crumbler. So there's your homework. Go check out Hard Crumbler on my YouTube page. I can create a little banner here. Go watch Hard Crumbler. Actually, if you type in Hard Crumbler, I think it comes up on YouTube. I thought maybe a bunch of pies would come up only, but I think the cartoon comes up. It's the unique name of, but Hard Crumbler. That's one of my little hidden gems, and I'll be talking about the characters and what went into the making of it and stuff like that. So it'll be a really like behind the scenes type show, but it's also like a more of a deep dive type show. So when is it coming out? I don't know. I'm not going to say exactly when, but it will come out soon, and I'll try to give you forewarning, and it will probably be out in the next few weeks. That's all I can say. And then beyond that, I don't know. So other than that, go to jimluhan.com to watch all my cartoon movies. I'll keep making them. I enjoy it. There's cool stuff coming up that we could probably talk about later regarding Bill Plimpton. And I'll give you that news later. There's always stuff brewing with Bill Plimpton. But other than that, thank you for everybody that gave me these questions. You guys, you make me want to keep going. No, I actually will do this again in the future. Ask Uncle Jimmy. It was fun. It was a good time. So thank you to everybody. Thank you also to the Artcasters for always promoting and being swell guys. So, all right, I think we're going to end it. We did it under an hour. Look at that. Amazing. Barely, huh? So, all right, guys. Thank you, and make cartoons. That's it.